Hello, everyone, and welcome to Maggie's Possum Journey. How have you all been? I hope you all are doing great and enjoyed watching Maggie's first episode of how she entered the Nilgiris. If you missed out, please go back and see Maggie's first episode of En route Nilgiris and how we started our journey and reached this beautiful place of Kotagiri. We were already mesmerized and soaked in the beauty of nature. We had a good night's sleep and all geared up for the next day. But first of all, I must wake up Maggie. Good morning, my dear. Are you ready? Let's have a wonderful, adventurous day. Come on, get up, Maggie. Let's have your breakfast and let's start the day. Can you see lazy Maggie? She doesn't want to get up. Well, after a lot of coaxing, I woke her up. I gave her a good hearty breakfast. Generally for the trips I carry a combination of home cooked food and dog food for Maggie that keeps her the most energetic and it's healthy for her as well. Well, after Maggie's breakfast, we just had 2 cups of tea because we had other breakfast plans. So we were deciding that once we're in Nilgiris, we must explore the toy train, which is so cute and so breathtaking. And this was one of the iconic things in this area that we must do. But our problem was we had our own car and Maggie was there. But what could be the solution? So the resort guy pitched in with his experience and he gave us a wonderful idea. So we hired a driver for the day that they had arranged from the resort. So we decided to pay him for the day. And he would take the 3 of us to Kunu railway station. So from Kunu railway station, we would board the toy train, my husband and I. Meanwhile, alongside on the road, the driver would take Maggie with them, with the car. Of course, they would come and receive us from Ooty. That would be just a 1-hour duration and separation from Maggie. Well, we were very skeptical because we didn't know how Maggie would react. She would know the car because it's her car, but the driver was a new person and she would be all alone. But we took our chances, Let's see how Maggie would react. Well, here a trustworthy driver was important and that's why we took the resort guy's recommendation. He knew the driver and we were okay and comfortable. So we got all ready for the day and had to have a click of the day. And here Maggie was waiting inside the car for us to come and join. Well, Maggie didn't really realize that we were out of the car, but we gave her a quick bye-bye and we headed for the toy train. It reminded us of all childhood wishes and we hopped in quickly. And trust me, that 1 hour was such a mesmerizing, wonderful ride. It took us back to all childhood wishes come true. I'm so happy that finally I could have the toy train ride. 1 hour just went by in a jiffy. The nature on both sides was just beautiful. I was just missing that. I wish Maggie could be here. She would have really enjoyed this new experience. But well, in no time we reached Ooty and Maggie received us. And we came to this place. But you know what is it? It's not a temple. And even before we realized, it was actually an eatery, a very famous breakfast spot. So we had our breakfast and we headed for the day. And this was our first location. We initially wanted to go to Paikara Lake. But our experienced driver told us that would you like to go to a place which is exactly the same, an extension, backwaters of the Paikara where nobody knows and it's part of the forest department. We may or may not have been allowed, so we took our own risk and we went there and we were so lucky to see it. This comes under the forest department, so there are times when rules are stricter, when sometimes they're a little lenient. But soon the forest department guys asked us to leave. So we left for our next spot. This was again a replica of the very famous shooting spot at Ooty. But that place is crowded with people. So again, our very experienced driver told us that I'll take you to a very, very similar place. But here you would not find a single soul. And thank God, just look at Maggie. She could just be open and a free-spirited soul. She was just running around and not a single soul to be found. And all thanks to our driver Bhaiya who gave us this suggestion. That was amazing that we could find a replica of such a beautiful place. and only one who knows this area would be able to guide us through. Or we had to just run around in those crowded places and never let probably Maggie down. Maggie was so happy and she didn't know where she was. Her dream come true. And she just had to run, get all the fragrances and God knows what all. It was a sunny day and Maggie, although was absolutely exhausted, she couldn't stop running and looking around here and there. But of course, the two of them had to get photos clicked. And one with me. Well, now it was time to give Maggie some hydration. So some curd water was excellent for her. And I wiped her off with a little bit of wet towel so that she would feel a little cool. It was really hot outside. So I told Maggie, rest inside and we'll click a few photographs. You rest. And before we had to leave this place, I had to do one last thing. My husband always wished to actually come out of the sunroof, and like a little child, he wanted to wave out his hand, but he always said, I'm the sole driver of the car and I never get this chance. So today, when we had somebody to drive our car, I didn't want to leave this opportunity. So can you see my husband right there? And I could shoot him. I told him, let me just capture the moment and you live your life like a little baby. Well, we all have little babies inside us, right? The child in us. Well, we must keep it alive, for our own good. And I was enjoying capturing this moment. Can you see how wonderfully my husband is enjoying this moment in this dust and everything? But he didn't bother. Well, all our wishes were fulfilled, and now our third and final destination of the day. We were a little skeptical if Maggie would be allowed, but while I was getting the tickets, they told us, go ahead, it's a pet-friendly place. Well, thank God. And we were all hot and our faces had turned all red because we were running around in the sun. But the minute we entered the beautiful pine forests of Nilgiri, we realized how nurturing the nature is. The minute we entered, there was such amazing cool breeze that had absolutely made us forget how hot we were feeling, how warm it was. It was like a natural air conditioning. And Maggie also must have felt a little relieved. And not only were these tall pine trees beautiful, but they were amazingly photogenic. In this place, Maggie got a lot of people who came up to her, hugged her, asked about her, and Maggie had a wonderful time. Nature and lovely people, what else does she want? Well, in true sense, this time our vacation was fulfilled because Maggie was with us for every spot that we went. Well, barring the train, but well, what can we do? But other than that, nature is something Maggie loves the most, right? You all know. And here she was having a wonderful day, greeting people, and we had just what we wanted. It was night and we came back to our hotel and we had a wonderful dinner, gave Maggie her dinner, lots of water, and even before I could realize, my baby had gone off to sleep. Well, I will see you in the next vlog, but do let me know how you liked this vlog. Until then, bye-bye and hugs from Maggie.